Good morning, Pueblo, and happy Friday. This is Bree Pappan, and I'm here with your December State of Art and a podcast. And I'm here with two of the three fantastic artists that are the creative team behind Sweet Talk Paint Shapes here in Pueblo. I started attending First Fridays at Sweet Talk Paint Shapes Gallery on Abriendo a couple months ago, and just really in support of artist friends that were having shows there. And I walked in and it was just such a pleasant experience for me. Not only is it's a very intimate space that really started as a workspace and a studio space, but really evolved into a gallery space. But just really a very pleasant experience in terms of attending art shows and having experiences with art. Like I said, very intimate, and the whole kind of aura behind the gallery and the artists who run it is just very, in a simple notion, just emphasize experiences that people have with art and surround yourself with opportunities of art and with people that are creative and generous and all of those things. And it really comes through in the space. So I want to welcome Forrest Archuleta Soto and James Beck to the program today. Thank you so much. And we're missing Joshua Soto today as well, who is doing art elsewhere today. So I really want to thank you both for being here today. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedules for the podcast. And I really have enjoyed getting to know you both. I've known James for a little while, and I feel like we've evolved in the same kind of circles, Forrest. Yeah, I feel so. I really love the notion and just the history and the short history. You guys have been open about 14 months now. Incredibly successful 14 months, and then heading into 2026, it's just already full-blown chalked schedule. So that's just a very exciting, not only from as, following through and being successful with your intention behind Sweet Talk Paint Shapes, but as business people here in Pueblo, as a small business owner. So I want to just recount with you, Forrest, just the whole idea, and for both of you, just click in, about where this idea came from about having this creative space and making it a reality in the small space on Abriendo that is Sweet Talk Paint Shapes. And I think the story is very organic and wonderful, and I'd love for you to just recount that for our listeners.
Yeah. So I met my husband Chachi in 2018, and we both were doing art and all the things. We already had established that, but we really bonded over this movie, Beautiful Losers, and him and I were like, oh, we need to do murals together. We need to do our art together. That would be so fun. Him and I have a thing with Margaret Kilgallen and McGee. I forget his first name. But anyway, they were some artists in New York back in the 80s and 90s that were just a couple that did so much art together. And so we started doing our mural business, and that was exclusively in Pueblo, or was it all over the state? We actually started in Denver. So we did an apothecary first for some friends, and then we ended up doing places in Springs, places here in Pueblo. But yeah, we ended up doing the murals, and then we met some other friends that ended up being a part of Sweet Talk for a while, and we made some murals on the levee back then, and then we wanted a studio. We wanted a place where we could come together with like-minded individuals, other artists that wanted to do the same things we were. And so we ended up somehow on the side of Blowback. I think that was Chachi talking to Jeff more often. I think somebody had moved out of that spot. I don't really know. It just ended up working out. And at the time, we were starting to hang out with James. We were starting to hang out with James a little more often. And James was always at Blowback. And so we were like, how would you feel about being in this with us? And James was just like, hell yeah, let's go, you know? And so, yeah, we ended up on the side of there for a while, and it was honestly pretty fun. It just didn't have the things that we really needed to do what we were wanting to do. And so at the end of the year there, we ended up moving into our basement and just kind of working out of our basement, having like art nights with James still at our house.
Work from home.
Yeah, exactly. We accommodated. And then 2020, was it 3 or 4?
What?
When we found the spot. When Chachi
I think it was 3.
Sweat and Swoon
was 2020. Chachi got there in the very end of 2023.
Okay, yeah. So Chachi ended up getting a studio because he's a tattoo artist, and he was over at a shop, and he wanted to go out on his own, and so he got Sweat and Swoon, which is next door to Sweet Talk.
Which is another amazing space. It's like when you walk, and you can just kind of go into it from Sweet Talk Paint Shapes, and it's like, and I talked to him a little bit first Friday for Jay's show, which was in November, and I just was like, it's like I walked in, and it's just like, it's an immersive experience as well. Yeah. Just the way he has it arranged for himself, but also just all of the artwork on the walls, and it's consuming.
Yeah, top to bottom, parlor walls. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's a very cool space.
Yes, yeah. Thank you.
Explain a space.
It's very like old school parlor style tattoo shop. There's just flash from the ceiling to the floor. Like it's very cool. And he loves plants, so there's plants everywhere. Yeah. It's really sweet.
Also, it has like this carnival atmosphere, kind of like this sideshow thing. You know, it's just kind of like, that's what I'm saying. There's just like so much going on in the space. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So he got this space in 2023 and was working out of there, and there were people next door for a while, but then they ended up leaving. And when they left, I think it was February 2024 that Chachi was literally like, I can't pass up this spot. Like, it's too cool. We have a place we could bring Sweet Talk. That would be so awesome if we could do that again. And we were like, cool. And James was down again. And so we were like, okay. So we moved all of our stuff in, and it didn't look how it looks now. It's definitely evolved. We didn't have any gallery looking space at all. But yeah, thankfully with the help of some friends, we were able to make it look how it looks now. And yeah, that's pretty much how it started. We were going to do a retail space for a while. It got too overwhelming, and we were like, a gallery sounds perfect. We could be open for First Fridays. If people want to schedule to come in, that's cool. And then a closing show and the end,
Yeah, and that's great. And that's a lot of galleries don't have a closing. Or they're starting to adopt a closing day, a closing show aspect to it, just because there's so many people may have not been able to come to First Friday or to opening or first week, so I think that gives another opportunity, more visibility for you guys to be open and kind of interface with the public.
Yeah.
So, James, you guys talked a little bit about kind of the aspect of a collective at the beginning of this, and a group of you. Very much mirroring, the ideas behind Beautiful Losers in terms of a collective of artists that were part of this group here in Pueblo. So how did that kind of evolve into where is the collective now, or what is the idea of the collective now?
So the idea of the collective is always evolving, because how it first started initially was, hey, we're adults and we want to do art. Yeah. Right. And that is itself kind of a statement, because, when you're not just doing it in school on your sketchbook in class or whatever, art isn't something that's really prioritized by a lot of people. But for me, at least, it was something that's just always been a part of my life. And it's weird to listen to that. So before meeting Sweet Talk, I finally just accepted, cool, I like making art and I want to make it every day, or at least I want to learn how to get better. I want to do this, I want to do that. And it was honestly thanks to me just exploring when I was living in New York and just drawing. I used to work in TV, so when we had like in between time, I would just draw on the walls because everything's made out of like wood. So like behind the sets, you know,
kind of foreshadowing of the things to come, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, like I would just take that time to like really draw these things. And I was like, dang, I'm getting really good at this.
You had such a beautiful intention and sentiment though. Like when, and I think, Forrest, did you indicate that you had known James for some time? You're all from Pueblo originally. And that you, we'll go back to James, but just also that you had intended that. But James, that you mentioned that when you came out of TV and music that, and then you, I had a chance meeting with Chachi in terms of your tattoo. You had such a beautiful sentiment in terms of, I just wanted to be around artists that make art with intention, you know, and that totally stuck with me, just that idea.
Well, yeah. Cause, you know, if you want to do something, especially if it's going to be like a career, this is something that you're putting your time, energy into for your whole life, and you want to care and nurture about it. You got to be around other people who are caring and nurturing about that, and finding other artists who are doing it for that love is hard. And the fact that I met Chach and I met Forrest is really beautiful, because it's adults doing art together is not something that you hear about every day. And I think it's been really nice to just have the goal of, I just want to make art. I want to create, and I want to find a way, like my life is, I want to do cool things. I want to meet cool people, and I want to make a living doing cool things with cool people. That's all I want to do.
Snap, 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 and, snap, snap. That's like, that's, if everyone could have that in their life, I mean, like, how much would that change the whole neuroses of people? I'm serious in terms of, I mean, that actually has been in the air for so long in terms of, you know, the more exposure you have to the arts and being creative and seeing these creations increases your brain function. You know, and adds things to your life and enhances your life and creates just kind of this whole aura around you in terms of how you see other things, how you see other people. And, you know, it's absolutely, you are living that.
Well, in the practice of it too, you know, it's, as much as it sounds really romantic of this like really exciting thing, it's not a lot of the time, but it's really cool because, you know, it's the practice of showing up for that. For instance, since becoming an artist, I've been getting jobs at schools doing murals in the hallways or in gyms or something. And I didn't expect that. And now, like, a part of, you know, doing cool things with cool people is that I am around kiddos. You know, I get to be that weird adult that they're just like, God, you don't seem like an adult, you know? And I'm just, hey guys, let's paint some stuff. And it's like the direction that normally they look from other adults, like they see me and they're like, what? But
they don't get that. That's so outside of maybe their immediate, you know, periphery in terms of, you know, it's very academically based, science based, but the merging of art and science or art and academics, it's necessary. You know, it really is in terms of and as a parent, I can say this, you're a parent, you know this, is making for well-rounded people, you know, and it's an essential aspect of being reared in terms of having, and I'm, you know, my soapbox now, of rearing is to have the exposures. I mean, I can't preach enough about exposing people at an early age to art and taking them to museums and libraries and creative experiences and all this, because it absolutely is shaping what their path is.
Well, shaping them as a person.
Shaping them as a person.
Their decisions for themselves, the thing that they believe in for themselves, and things that they can discover on their own instead of, hey, believe in this, and then that's your identity, you know. Art's heavy because being yourself is not always an easy thing, especially in a world that says, hey, don't be yourself.
Exactly.
And vulnerability is hard, period.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Absolutely. Well, let's get back to the business of being a gallery owner. I really love the idea that let's call it your mission statement, which it's loose, but just inviting artists that you love and admire and that you notice where did that pathway come from, either of you, in terms of, and then the whole idea behind, this is how we're going to let them create their show. Is that from personal experience, or is that just observed behavior, or just kind of experiences in terms of the way in which that happens, in terms of bringing Forrest? Why don't you go ahead? Okay.
So with them being able to kind of create their own show was kind of just trial and error. I mean, we really kind of started that way when we were doing shows, but they were a little more organized. I don't even know how to verbalize this. So basically,
did the artists come in with a vision of their own of how they wanted to have their show?
Yeah, it was kind of like where you'd go to a typical place.
James is shaking his head hard no.
Yeah, like
yeah.
How it did start.
Basically, they would come in and how they're used to approaching like a regular show. They'd bring their art in and be like, okay, like, what are we doing? Are you putting this up? Like, how do we do this? And we would just kind of stack it like you would in a regular gallery. And then
at first they were asking, hey, what do we want to do? And we're like, we don't care. This is your show. This is your moment to share what you want to share.
Because I feel like, Amanda is the first one I remember.
Yeah.
And hers was very just like, everything was nice and straight. It was.
Who is this? I'm sorry.
Beautiful. Amanda Santa-Steven.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
She had a show in February, I believe, and that was like the hit of us starting a gallery.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And hers was just very formal. Like it was very nice, but it just looked very like, everything was pretty and
cookie cutter type. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then we were like opening up our flat files, because that thing will never move. It's so hard to move. It's too heavy. It's in there now. And so we were like, well, you could like put your stickers in here. Like there's different ways you could do this. And so she like brought cookies and brought all this like these stickers. And so she kind of, I would say it was the start of us just figuring it out, watching things and being like, oh, that was a cute idea. Like we opened that up and she utilized it, and then Sophie like stacked, she was the next show. Sophie, I'm sorry. Yeah. Healy.
Okay.
She was the next show and she's like stacked all of her prints inside of it. It looked really cool. And so we just kept
we're
going
legit now. It's
yeah, we just kept like going with that. So I feel like it was just us collaborating with the artists. It wasn't really us having an idea. We were like, here, we'll put it up all nice and pretty. And then they were like, no, let's do fun stuff, and we kind of just went with it. And it's gotten really fun. I mean, we had people hanging stuff from the ceilings, like Jenny, and it's pretty cool.
Last show in November, I remember talking with Jay, and she was like, I just brought things from my living space to create like an environment that really reflected of who I am. And I think that is just an incredible, just kind of an extension of the show in terms of, understanding the artist, knowing what their inspirations are. And honestly, I think that process it's kind of far removed from what a traditional gallerist would expect, or an artist would expect walking into a gallery if they've been offered a show. It's less formal, and it really, I think, having them be able to have an active part in the creation of their show, it just makes it more inviting, and more of, an experience, because the artist is setting the stage rather than the gallerist setting the stage, guessing what, I think that's a breath of fresh air, honestly. Yeah. I think of all and I'm going to add, and this is not to play favorites, in terms of the shows that you had this, in your first 14 months or 12 months of being open, what do you feel do you feel like there was one that was better than the other, or the best, or there was just kind of, one flowed better than the other, or one was received better than the other, or what do you think about that?
Honestly, I feel like every single one has brought like a unique vibe to the space, and so they've all been really cool. But I mean, obviously people are out more in the summer, so that seems to be when the shows really pop. The winter months are a little drier, but it's still fun. You get like the more intimate shows and stuff. But yeah, honestly, seeing what people do with the space, and we're just like, here, you have it all. If you want us to do it, it'll be very like gallery-esque. We'll put all your stuff up very nice and pretty. But a lot of them are like, no, I want to do this. And they'll hang stuff from, like I said,
the ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, yeah, I can't really choose a favorite. There have been gorgeous pieces through our space and amazing ways of interpreting this space from all these people that I can't. There is no way to classify that into categories.
Yeah, James.
And one thing too is we're not, compared to the other galleries, we haven't been around long, and so because of that, since this is such a word of mouth town, each show that happens, it's not really people being curious and coming up the road to see us. Like the people who come in are the supporters of that artist. Supporters
of your space, I think,
kind of that we're kind of getting there, but yeah, for the most part, like it's really been the people who love the art from the artists who are showing is who shows up. And it's, we rarely, like we maybe get like 3 or 4 stragglers who kind of are curious to check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone.
You have such beautiful visibility on Abriendo going down and onto Union. I mean, it's honestly the perfect spot.
Yeah.
In terms of having a space, public space.
It's still Pueblo, and it's, since everyone's really driving and no one really walks around and explores unless they know somebody who's doing something. It's
right.
I think the one thing that I've been the most proud of is the fact that our customer base has been the people who want to support the people who are showing, and every now and then like an additional person, or like we were saying, the people who come in who have been in there the month before. But even then, like that's honestly that's less than like 20 people. Yeah. Like we have a very intimate amount of people that come in, and it's really cool because of that, because it's really the support for the artists. And I hope we get support for this space, but seeing just the like support for the people has been really cool, because it just shows that there is a support system for each individual.
Absolutely.
Yeah, each show has been such a different group of people coming in. I don't think there's ever been the same people, unless it's like happens to be one of the artists who just are doing their First Friday hops. But in terms of like regular people who are doing First Friday stuff,
now's the time. Do a shout out, James.
Sweet Talk, Paint Shapes, 101 West Abriendo. If you like taffies, you might like art too, because we are right across the street. Good people, good folks, good hangs, good conversations.
It's library adjacent. So you go to the library, stop by Sweet Talk. The other thing that I think is really interesting and that I love personally is your support of a particular genre in terms of, I would say, alt. I'm not going to call it underground. I'm not going to call it lowbrow. I'm calling it alt artists. Is that coming from you classify yourselves in that genre as tattoo artists, as muralists, as James? You're all three of you. Forrest, James, and Chachi are multimedia artists. You're doing on multiple surfaces. Was that kind of a group decision? It's like, let's support like-minded artists?
Honestly.
Or it just kind of attracted, because you,
I mean, I would just say it's our friends who do art. There's nowhere really to show art here that's not just Western or like realism, unless you go to Springs or Denver. Like Bevant Garde. Do you remember that place?
I don't.
Bevant Garde used to be on Union, and Brian Spillman ran it. And that was like the first place that ever felt like an art gallery for me in Pueblo. I want to say I was in high school, so this was like 2009, 2010.
Wow, okay.
But that was the only place that ever felt like there was art that wasn't just you had to have this technical skill to accomplish. It was, hey, there's a community of people here. That's where I met Hannah Watson.
Yeah. Okay.
That's where I met a lot of artists who I don't remember anymore because I moved. But I think just us wanting to support our friends who don't have a place to show, because there isn't. Like, I know places are kind of getting more in there, but I think there's a generational thing where it's like younger kids don't know how to get started. You know,
Mm-hmm.
art is such a weird thing. Like, hey, can I show my art in your spot? You know, like that's uncomfortable.
Yes, come in.
And so to have a place where it's like, hey, there is art being shown here. I do art that's not traditionally Western or whatever Colorado art is considered, or they haven't been doing it for like their whole lives. Because there are the people who are established, but like the people who are established are good.
Right.
And we want to help people who just want to show a space and start giving them a place to have their own themes and stuff.
That's beautiful.
That's my answer. What would you say?
That's beautiful.
I would just add to that by saying that it was mostly friends, but also just people that we respected and admired in the community. So we'd see their stuff up in the coffee shops or, you know, like local places that are great places to show, but we wanted to give them more of a hand up and like, here, this is the gallery world, like, and so yeah, just like respected artists like that, like Amanda, Sophie, all these people that are well established in what they're doing,
right,
but don't necessarily have a venue that's not like a coffee shop or something.
And I know Amanda recently had a show in Springs as well.
Yes,
so that's,
yes.
I mean, I think that's fantastic to go outside of Pueblo, you know, and to maybe, you know, she had some inspiration from having a show in your space to like, let me try something outside of Pueblo and see what happens. Or let me try, you know, let me do those things. We're going to take a quick break for
Stylish spit, by the way.
Stylish. Oh yes. Yeah. And also Celeste is also, her twin sister, her is also an artist.
Yeah.
Who's had a show, or she's had pieces. Has she had pieces in your?
I don't think Celeste hasn't been able to. We were going to show Celeste last year, and then she overcommitted and she actually had a show in New Mexico that month. And I was
right.
Like,
yes.
Go there. Like, that's so cool.
That was amazing. Was it El Paso?
No, I want to say it was Taos.
Taos, okay.
Yeah,
right.
and that was awesome. And we were like, no, we fully support. Please go do that, because we ended up having a children's show that month.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's something else we could talk about.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to take a quick break to give some time to our sponsor, CHFA, and we'll be right back.
Homeownership is possible with a trusted partner.
It brings us a lot of joy to be able to say that this house is our own and that we've poured our hearts into making it our own.
Alyssa and Ryan are among the more than 155,000 people Chaffa has helped become homeowners since 1974. It starts with homebuyer education and connecting you with a statewide network of participating lenders. Get started at chfainfo.com/yourhome. Chaffa is an equal housing lender.
Okay, we're back. Thanks so much for joining me. This is Bree Pappan, and this is State of Art podcast for December, and I'm joined by Forrest Archuleta Soto and James Beck, two of the three Sweet Talk founders, leaders, team leaders, behind Sweet Talk Paint Shapes. Thank you again for joining me. While we had a chance to sit down a couple weeks ago and talk at the space, I happened to look over at your 2026 calendar, and it's full, which is, bravo. What are the things that maybe you have taken in, learned, understood about the business of art going into 2026 that you're going to apply, or that things that you don't want to happen, or lessons learned in terms of how you're going to move forward into the next year of your Sweet Talk?
Paying our taxes on time.
Don't want somebody from the tax office to walk in the front door. Hi.
The 15,
been there, done that. Well,
the $15 per month of missing it. Yeah, honestly, I think, at least for me, the art and the business side of things, I loathe. I do not love it because there's so much that I have to learn, and none of it feels, I don't want to say none of it feels real, but none of it feels like there's like a standard. I've had to learn all the business stuff by myself, and even asking questions, everything feels made up. So I'm learning how to I'm learning how to figure out the business side of it. But
Does it feel unreachable, or kind of like it's not palpable for you, or just things that you're just, or is it just kind of like, I don't have experience doing this?
It's just, I want to do it right, but I also want to know all the little things. So it's so much to learn. And especially, like an art business is different than a not art business. And so, we're getting a whole bunch of like details and like suggestions from people, but they don't do art. So it's like different tax write-offs or different things to collect or be mindful of. And, all
input is good.
Yeah, all input is great. It's just checking it is hard because it's just a load of information, and then looking in the tax book and figuring out like, is this real or is this person like mistaken for something else?
Right.
But it's a lot of information, and I hate everything about it, but we're learning because we have to, and complaining is not going to do anything for me.
And body doubling has helped a little bit.
Yeah, I learned that I get things done when I just have another person in the room. That's all it takes. I just need to have another person right there. Boom, done. Hey, let's do this thing. When I'm by myself, I'm like, I'm going to take a nap.
You need a motivational side person so you can be like, hey, did you remember to do this? You need personal assistant. That's what's called a personal assistant.
Yeah. Well, it's helpful to have a team. It's just, it makes such a difference.
Yeah.
And Forrest and Chach have just been.
Yeah. The three of you are such a great support for each other.
We try.
Sure. Yeah.
We try.
Yeah. Yeah. But so some of the artists that you have on deck for 26 first, in terms of, are they, how did that, how do you feel that calendar? Is it something that you vet, or is it something that, you just come in contact with somebody, or somebody comes in, or somebody reaches out to you in terms of like, hey, do you have any space on the calendar?
Kind of all across the board. So we did end up putting out like a post on social media being like, hey, like 2026 is coming. Who wants to be a part of it? And we had a lot of people reach out that we didn't necessarily know. And so, we have some people booked that we've never really engaged with before, which is really exciting. I'm really stoked. And then, there's some friends in there. We're even going to show ourselves. We were like, we have this gallery and we've never shown ourselves in
That's
it.
kind of, that's where I was like, oh, this is a space for you to display your own art, very much like Chachi does next door at his place. He has his own artwork up there. But I'm like, hello, this is, it's an open platform for you.
Yeah. So we now, all three of us have shows next year too. So it's just like kind of across the board, some ones that we would consider friends booked in. We had some people that we didn't know, and it was really fun. And honestly, like the way we go about it is just kind of like go with the flow. So like I said about Celeste's show, she was like, I'm so sorry to do this to you. And we were just like, okay, now what are we going to do? And
Plan B.
And then we ended up hosting like a children's class where we taught them how to do the backings to their paintings.
Oh my gosh.
They got to paint for one of the classes, and then they got to do a flyer to promote. And it was so much fun.
Wow.
And these kids are so creative. It's so cool to see. I'm sure we have photos and stuff on our social media, but it came out so cool. And it was mostly.
Is it
their
something
parents.
you want to do again? Maybe
Possibly,
throughout the.
Yeah. We do have a full booking right now, but if we ever come into
summertime is the greatest time to have that, because kiddos are out of school. They need to be involved in things. Yeah, stimulated.
Yeah.
So, just as an example, having, and I'm not saying, formal class schedule, but having a kids art camp, and I think doing these things gives the gallery dimension.
Yeah.
Gives you, and it's like, oh, it's just not an art space, but it's a space to create. It's a space that people can come and do these things, and have experiences with art, which is something that's really part of your mission.
Yeah.
Your quote unquote not mission. But I think it's beautiful, especially, just entertaining all of those kind of ideas, and not just formal shows, or informal shows, or having shows monthly, but having these areas that people can come to have creation, to create creative moments or creative projects, processes, all those things. I think that'd be beautiful. So tell me a little bit about, right now, the show that's up on view is Unearthed by Kim Sewell, who is a good friend of mine. I've known her for several years. I first met her when we worked at the library together, and then she went to the zoo, and she's just been all over. And she's another person who is from Pueblo, correct? And just a really kind of evolution of her artwork. So as a fiber artist.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that show that's up now.
It's gorgeous. You would have to come see it. There's so many interpretations that people had of her art that's up right now. I was telling her it looked like the inside of a cell. Some people said a geode. Other people were saying like someone said one looked like a blueberry, one looked like a demigorgon. There was like so many interpretations, but it looks so cool. She did basically all these fiber art pods, and then she watercolored these little echoes of each one. She calls them echoes, and it's gorgeous. She ended up doing, again, another cool creative thing that she came up with on her own. She did candy pods you could make. So she got cotton candy, and she ordered all these like really cool sprinkles that look like little beads and diamonds and stuff, and you could make your own little edible pod. And of course my kids loved that,
of course.
But even like older people were like, whoa, what is this? Oh my god, you can eat it. That's so cool. And so yeah, it's a gorgeous show.
And that's up through the end of December.
Yes,
31st?
yeah, she has her closing show on the 30th.
Okay.
And I believe she just posted about it. It'll be I want to say 5:30 to 8:30.
Okay.
And it's a night of the week, so I think it's Monday
it's a school
or Tuesday.
night.
Yeah. But it's because Christmas is like literally right behind it. There's so much going on. So so that's when we're doing the closing show, and I'm super stoked for her.
That's fantastic. Well, I have loved having you both in the studio, just getting to know you both more and talking about Sweet Talk Paint Shapes and the gallery itself and its evolution. And I really am excited to attend openings in 2026 coming up. What, just real quick off the top of your head, other than your shows that I'm excited to see for yourselves, what are some of the artists that you're excited to feature next year?
There's a new one that I don't really...
Or I should say, who are some of the artists that you should...
Yeah, I want to say Andrew.
In February?
Yeah.
Andrew Brooks.
Andrew Brooks.
Yeah,
okay.
His stuff is really cool.
We've got him. There's Gina Pollock.
Gina. Yay.
Hannah Watson is going to show stuff too eventually. We've got Bella Day and her sister.
Yeah, you got Emily.
Yeah, we've got Emily Botten in December. We have so many cool people. It's like I'm trying to like remember that list in my head and like go down it. But yeah, there's just so much.
And is it like...
There's you.
Oh, yeah.
and then, so is this, again, maybe following that same genre of maybe old artists, or is it kind of multimedia, or is there predominantly painters, sculptors, photographers?
Yeah, honestly,
If
you make art, you can bring all of it. You can
That's
bring your
awesome.
photography, you could bring your sculptures, do what you will. We've had all across the board.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then again, let's have another shout out for Sweet Talk Paint Shapes. And you're located at
101 West Abriendo,
Pueblo, Colorado.
and you're on social media at
Sweet Talk _paint shapes.
and that's on IG, Instagram.
Yes.
Okay.
Instagram.
And is that your preferred platform for
communication? We don't have Facebook.
Okay. And do you guys have regular hours, or is it just evolve around the openings or
Just
closing shows, or by appointment?
The most regular hours we have is first Friday at some point, depending on the flyer, if you keep in touch. And then whenever there's a closing. But yeah, the only other thing is just to hit us up, whether it's...
I'm passing through Pueblo. Can I stop by the gallery?
Pueblo. If you hit us, send us a direct message, like we'll let you in. Because the thing is, like, we're working artists too, so our schedules are always changing. But yeah, first Friday for sure. And then if there's a closing, those are the 2 days we are always open, and any other time it's special and not repetitive.
Yeah. Is that Sweet Talk Paint Shapes at Gmail?
gmail.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Well, thank you both again.
Thank you,
all again.
Thank you.
Forrest, Archuleta Soto, and James Beck, and missing Chachi Soto, but here's here in spirit. Thank you all again for being with me. This is State of Art for December. I'm Bree Pappan. Thanks so much for joining me, and talk to you soon.
Receiving down payment assistance from CHAFA allowed us to expand our options for what kind of houses we were looking at.
CHAFA is Colorado's trusted partner for homeownership. Visit chfainfo.com/yourhome. CHAFA is an equal housing lender.